Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. The course of true love never did run smooth. Today in the rLounge, we dodge emotional landmines that somehow always seem to go off at the wrong moment. Up first, sometimes the real baggage isn't just in the closet. It's sitting at your dinner table. Help! My husband's ex-wife moved in with us. When I met my husband 10 years ago, he had been divorced for 2 years. Lindy turned into a party girl after their divorce. Never around for the kids and very flaky. We have custody of their 2 children. Lindy was out of the picture for years, but she reemerged and texted my husband. She says she's changed her focus on life and is getting herself together. She told my husband that she's moving to Australia to start a new job and a new healthy life. A few weeks later, I come home from work and find Lindy in my house having a glass of wine. My husband took me aside and told me that Lindy will be staying in our guest room for 3 weeks. He said her lease was up, and this arrangement is temporary, and it will help her to save money until she leaves for Australia. I was upset that he didn't consult me on it, but I let it go. It's now 3 months later, and Lindy's job keeps getting pushed back. I don't think it ever existed. The worst part is, I feel totally pushed out of my own family. My husband works from home, so he is hanging around all day with his ex. I come home from work to find my husband sitting down with Lindy, and sometimes the kids, having dinner that she made, laughing at their old jokes, and having a wonderful time. Lindy also does my husband's laundry, then says, "You're so busy, I don't mind." But I do. My stepdaughter has always had a picture of her mom in her bedroom, which is fine with me, but now it's in our living room. And the last straw, I came home and found my husband in bed reading, as Lindy was organizing our closet. "It's such a mess. Let me help." My skin crawls at the thought of her looking through all my things. I've spoken to my husband and he says that it's cute that I'm being jealous. He also said that he's not going to put the mother of his children out on the street, nor pay for a motel. I want her out of my life and my husband and stepkids back. And my husband is doing nothing about it. I don't know how much longer I can hang on, and I'm thinking that's what she wants, to slip into my life as I slam the door behind me. Help, please. My husband's ex won't leave. I was the letter writer whose husband let his ex-wife, Lindy, move into our home without telling me. Soon after I wrote to you, things in the house became even more tense. Lindy had a junk man haul my furniture away while I was at work. When I came home, there were new living room and dining room sets. The very last straw came when Lindy and my husband made family plans without me, a weekend away with the kids to visit family. I guess I'm not family? I finally stopped being a doormat. With all my financial ducks in a row, and with the help of friends, I moved out and started my new life. I'm in the process of divorcing him. But here's the best part. They're no longer together. On one of our divorce-discussing phone calls, my ex told me that Lindy left him for an old friend who came to town and with whom she shares a deep spiritual connection. He says they plan on opening a bead store. Now my ex is begging me to come back, saying he made a terrible mistake. No thanks. I'll keep my dignity and he can keep the furniture. Thanks to you and your readers for the wake-up call. You should never feel like the outsider in your own life, especially not because your husband is letting his ex invade every space you share. It sounds like you made the right decision by leaving. If your ex didn't take your concerns seriously when you were still together, he certainly wouldn't have after you left. And the fact that Lindy was looking for a way to step back in just makes it all the worse. What do you make of this? What would you do? Up next, logic takes a backseat to paranoia. My 41 female partner of 2 years, 44 male, is adamant I am cheating on him. I am not. Help? Just a bit of context. We've been together for 2 years. He has 2 kids. I have 1 kid. Irrelevant to this story. We live apart. I bought a home a few months before we started dating, and are together only when our kids are with their other parents. He's the guy that has treated me the best of all my relationships, and I love him dearly. I'm a chronically anxious and stressed person, and he absolutely is my peace. But today, he sucker punched me with this. He's absolutely convinced I'm cheating on him. The reason he suddenly started thinking this is because 2 days ago I wanted to show him something on my phone. There was an irrelevant tab opened, my Hotmail account that is full of spam. Had this account for the past 24 years, but mostly used my Gmail. He saw, quickly in passing, that there was a folder with a man's name, let's say James. I don't remember the purpose of this folder. It's empty, haven't touched it in 15 years. No idea why it exists. It was probably useful at some point, but no idea. Well, now he's convinced that I closed the tab too quick. I was acting weird and nervous and suspicious. This means I've cheated or I'm actively cheating. That's his perspective. Now on to the actual truth. I am absolutely not cheating on him. He's the man of my dreams, love of my life. I've never even given him a reason to even suspect I'm cheating. I spend one entire week with him at his place, never hid my phone, anything like that. When I'm at my house, it means I'm with my kiddo and my time is 100% devoted to her. I also work a lot. There is not a single second of my life where I would have time to devote to any other person, even through email. I spend my downtime at home being with kiddo and the cat, watching YouTube videos. I send him a lot of pictures of me chilling with my cat as well, and we have a constant communication going. I'm very chatty through texts. Anyways, at first I was super pissed and also confused because why on earth would you not trust me? What is happening? No matter what I say, he says I don't make any sense whatsoever, and he's just adding 1 + 1, and to him, the answer is 2. I keep telling him that he's the one not making any sense. We're back and forth on the texting. He doesn't even want to speak over the phone or come over to talk about it. I've sent him numerous screenshots of my email with unopened emails that go back more than a year. I've sent screenshots of me typing the keyword James in the email and nothing comes up. I've shown him the completely empty sent folder, which to me is weird. I've sent numerous emails over the years. Why is it empty? And I've also given him the login and password so he can look for himself. I've accumulated a lot of junk in that email over the many years I've had it, but rarely use it now. It is just a receptacle of all my Amazon orders, my McDonald's app receipts, and various spam emails. I'm pissed he doesn't trust me. He says he needs time to think. I'm stuck in a loop of pissed, confused, and sad. What's going on? Help. Ask for help. I'm sure the comments have some. First up, is this incredibly out of character for him, or has he always been a bit jealous and suspicious? Could he be the one cheating and protecting? The OP replies, this is wildly out of character. I'm unsure if he would be projecting his own cheating. Anything is possible, but I'd hope not. I don't believe so. He's high libido and we have sex daily when we're together, which is every other week, except when one of us is sick. I give him everything he needs in that department and all the other departments as well. We take good care of each other typically. Next person says, usually when people get paranoid out of nowhere, it could be because they're out doing what they're paranoid of you doing, or at the very least, are being dishonest about something they're doing. Judgment is not the a-hole. Update, 5 days later. So it did not end well. After 48 hours of back and forth through text, because he refused to even speak to me over the phone or face to face, and me giving him my password so he can go check for himself that nothing was effy, he still won't back down. At this point, his behavior was concerning, and I thought he may have a mental episode going on. It was getting too much. He was texting me at all hours of the night, trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense in the first place. So I blocked him. When he realized that he sent me emails at my work email, asking me to check my Hotmail, which had nothing different in it. When I blocked his email, he decided to message my best friend and telling her, if I can't talk to her, I'll go through you instead. My friend has literally nothing to do whatsoever with this whole thing. She never replied and is sticking with me because she's also seeing how crazy he's acting. So I thought that was that. Yesterday at work, I was visibly sad and distressed, and my whole team hugged me, offered support, and had lunch with my other good friend and colleague. So the day goes by. I get off work at 4. I'm walking to my car in the parking lot, flanked by 2 colleagues, and I'm kind of explaining the whole story. They go to one of the girls' car because they carpool. I walk towards my own car, which is parked 2 rows away. I hear a loud man's voice behind me. I turn around and it's him. He's walking very quickly towards me and still talking nonsense about emails. I hold my hand up and say, I'm not doing this with you right now, all the while calculating whether I am safe to go to my car. He was screaming at me that I was a whore, a slut. I've never seen him like this before at all. A little energy pushed me to turn around and go to my colleague's car. At this point, I'm shaking and scared. I enter her car and start hyperventilating. They're like, we'll drive you home. He was about 6 feet from the car, hate in his eyes, motioning me to get out of the car. We drove off. I kept apologizing to them, crying and looking behind us the whole trip to make sure he wasn't following. When I came home, my mother was there. I broke down and she called the cops. A nice officer told me over the phone, I got nothing else going on right now. You're my priority, and I'm coming to you as soon as I can. He came to my home, took my deposition, was extremely patient and understanding, explained everything that he was going to do after. My ex was placed under arrest for criminal harassment with certain conditions to follow. Not sure about the legal terms here, but they did not handcuff him or take him to jail. It was just a verbal thing, and he will probably be summoned in court at a later date. I have a good network of people who care, and I believe I'm safe. Thanks, everyone. Edit. I just had a 2-hour conversation with his ex. Let's call her Jess. Not the mother of his kids, but the girl he dated between the kid's mother and me. A very interesting conversation. She has lived exactly the same situation as me, minus the calling the cops. She told me he was ultra-controlling, physically and verbally abusive to his 2 sons, a bad drug habit, an unhealthy or borderline inappropriate relationship with the mother of his children, and he was psychologically and sexually abusive towards Jess. She told me he used to put her on a pedestal, same as me, but he had a lot of behavior problems that I've noticed but chose to ignore just because I loved him so much. I hope he gets the help he needs. Let's hear what a couple of commenters had to say. The one piece of advice I will offer. People like this often ignore the police because they're no longer living in our reality. Been there. Just because they have MH issues, clearly here, it doesn't mean you have to feel 1 ounce of sympathy or guilt because whatever is going on, it's destroyed any chance of them being allowed in your life anymore. You may well get guilt or sympathy pangs, and you should grab them by the collar and throw them out of their butt the moment they enter your head. The only way to mentally deal with stalky exes is to literally stop caring about them at all, and then the only decisions you will make will be around your own safety. The OP replies, "Thank you, I needed to hear this. I'm angry at him, but sometimes during the day I have small bouts of thoughts like, did I overreact? Am I being too harsh with having him arrested? And I have huge regrets about it. But then I realize, hey, the actual officer of the law told me he had enough motive to literally arrest him, so I'm doing the right thing." One more comment from the community. But knowing my ex, that's just a facade and he's probably absolutely boiling with rage inside. Can you talk about this a little bit more? In your original post, you described him only using positive traits, but if you know he's probably absolutely boiling with rage inside, that speaks to you knowing he has a temper. I'm not asking to be snarky, but it may be helpful to see if his behavior is not as out of character as you initially thought. The OP replies, "I understand what you mean. Yes, he did have a temper, but never, ever directed at me personally. Usually he would be mad at the mother of his children for mishandling a situation regarding the kids, and would go on a rant about how much of a C-word she is. But towards me, the sweetest guy there ever was. I guess I didn't think that it would happen to me, but isn't that how it usually goes? Never thought I'd be on the receiving end of it." Honestly, this guy sounds like he has a huge problem. And by that, I mean he needs a psychologist. He's stalking your inbox, refusing to accept proof, and getting progressively more unhinged, all because of a 15-year-old empty folder with a guy's name that's as irrelevant as a forgotten sock under the bed. That man needs all the help he can get. Thoughts? Thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.